Every reason people don't change. Most people already know what they want to change. They want different habits, different outcomes, different routines. They want to feel more in control of their time, their money, their energy. In most cases, the difficulty isn't awareness. People usually know what isn't working. What's harder to see are the forces that quietly push back. Change often has immediate costs and delayed benefits. The effort is felt right away. The discomfort is immediate. The benefit, however, arrives later. Sometimes much later. This creates an imbalance. The mind places more weight on present discomfort than future improvement, even when the future benefit is larger. As a result, staying the same often feels easier in the moment. Not because it is better, but because it costs less right now. Behavior doesn't exist in isolation. It is shaped by routines, surroundings, and defaults. Where people live, who they spend time with, what their days are built around. When these environments stay the same, behavior tends to return to familiar patterns. Even sincere attempts to change often fade when the surrounding structure remains unchanged. This happens quietly, without a conscious decision to stop. People also tend to act in ways that feel consistent with who they believe they are. Identity plays a powerful role. A person can want a new outcome while still seeing themselves as someone who isn't that type of person. When change conflicts with identity, tension appears. Over time, behavior usually resolves that tension by returning to what feels familiar. Not because the goal disappeared, but because identity stayed the same. Many changes work gradually. Progress often arrives too slowly to notice. Early improvement can look like nothing at all. When feedback is weak or delayed, effort begins to feel unanchored. People often stop not because change failed, but because visible evidence hasn't arrived yet. The process works. It just works quietly. Most plans also assume consistent energy. Real life doesn't work that way. Energy fluctuates. Stress increases. Fatigue accumulates. Attention fragments. When energy drops, plans that rely on constant effort tend to collapse. This creates the impression of failure, even though the problem is instability, not commitment. Social context matters more than it seems. People adapt to the norms around them. Change can create distance from familiar people, routines, and expectations. That distance carries a subtle cost. Belonging often feels safer than improvement, especially when change risks isolation or friction. This influence is rarely explicit, but it is felt. Finally, most systems favor repetition. Habits renew automatically. Routines repeat. Days begin to resemble each other. Without deliberate interruption, behavior tends to return to baseline. Not because of choice, but because defaults are powerful. People don't avoid change because they don't care. They avoid it because change competes with comfort, identity, uncertainty, energy, and momentum. Understanding these forces doesn't guarantee change, but it explains why wanting something different is rarely enough. And that's why change is rarely just a matter of will. It's a matter of structure.